Big up, the snake snadder's massive. Episode 12 of Chaz's No Bullshit Reptile Advice. Today's question, Dan Barwick. Hi Chaz, this might be a controversial topic, but what are your opinions on live feeding? I'm personally against it, but I've heard some people argue that it has its benefits. What are your thoughts? Keep up the good work. Okay. Predominantly, my thoughts are, I'm indifferent about it. And I also have to bear in mind that slightly over half of our viewership is American, where live feeding is far more commonplace. What I have an issue with is beginners having a need to do it. There isn't one. If you're keeping a species that is a beginner species, it should feed on defrost. The only people that need to feed live are the people keeping more finicky and more advanced species. It's as simple as that, really. Right, that's the end of that one. Not many kids. But for me, it is kind of, it's as black and white, it's as cut and dry as that. So every species we sell, which is marked beginner level species in the shop, every animal in here has got a denoted difficulty level, will be expected to feed under its own steam on defrosted prey and feed well. If it doesn't feed well, they have the right to return it, exchange it, or we refund it, or we get it feeding again for them, which occasionally happens. We'll have one that'll stutter and miss its step once it's gone to its new home, and people bring them back and we get them going again and hand them back, and hopefully they're fine. If not, we'll exchange the animal, or in extreme circumstances even refund them. No beginner should have to go through the turmoil of all the headache of trying to source live prey and then run the risk of the live prey actually damaging your animal. So therefore, my default position is only experienced keepers, only people working with animals that are finicky or difficult should have a need to feed live. If it's because you find some sick perversion in enjoying it, then you're a prick and you shouldn't do it. That should never be a motivator, ever. There's nothing enjoyable about watching an animal die. It's not fair competition in a viv. It is literally feeding a Christian to a lion. That's what you're doing. The animal doesn't stand a chance of escape. It's bullshit. We're animal lovers, aren't we? See, at least if we're going to feed them the frozen prey, the way that it works in the UK is they go into argon, which knocks them out. Then they go into a CO2 vat, which then they obviously stop breathing, but they felt no pain during this whole process. And then they're flash frozen for freshness. And it's all done very above board, and it helps me sleep at night. So yeah, I prefer the idea of this. There's people that use fresh killed, maybe they've got problematic animals, or traditionally when royals were a pain in the arse and we hadn't quite got them locked down, a lot of people would fresh kill prey and feed them that way, which would be whacking them over the head and feeding them and stunning them. But again, invariably, these were breeders and people keeping numbers and people with a certain level of experience. I would loathe to think that a beginner just starting out with enough to worry about then has to go through this ethical quagmire and grey area about live feeding. I don't think it's necessary. And if you've got an animal as a beginner that requires live feed, you've got the wrong animal. Now, we can extrapolate out from this live feeding. How about prey that people may get queasy about? So, got no issue with the mice and the rats, but let's say we've got a hot keeper that has king cobras, and he feeds it corn snakes and royal pythons that have died in people's collections. Would it be okay to live feed them and laugh and giggle as the corn snake met its demise in the vib? Of course not. It has to be dead. It's just got to. There's just a certain, this morbid fucking obsession with live feeding stuff. And that's not a go at you, Dan. You're against it anyway, so it's okay. But there should be no sport element to it. There should be no enjoyment from it. It is doing a job is preventing an animal from dying, and I would personally only ever do it if I thought that this animal will die without intervention. Again, I'm an experienced keeper. I can make that call. A beginner can't. You've got like the king cobras eating that. People are using bearded dragon eggs. I saw a wicked picture today of a Thai beauty snake, big one, with a gob full of corn snake. It was a section of corn snake that it sort of folded in half. So this animal's carcass is being used for a good purpose. It's good. I haven't got a problem with that. It's recycling. It's using it effectively, efficiently. You know, what's the issue? If the animal had been alive and we've chucked it in for sport, then no. I'm sorry, no, I just don't get that. I don't get that. I find that distasteful, and that it flies in the face of what we do. But that said, there are situations where it exists, and it's necessary, and that's fine. There is no need for anybody who we sell in beginner stuff to, or that might be watching this channel from an educational perspective rather than just watching it for something to do. Guys, don't do it. You don't do live, because sometimes you can go live and then they won't come back. Other times you can go live, put it in, your snake decides it's not hungry, and that rat or mouse can fuck your snake up. That is a real risk. There is a book called What's Wrong with My Snake by the Rosses, Roxanne Rossi and somebody else Rossi, and they show pictures of a boa constrictor spine that over the course of one evening has just been eaten away, just like a watermelon, just been completely caved in by a rat that had been left in with it. Retarded keeping, stupid, absolutely bloody stupid. There's no excuse for it whatsoever. And that kind of sticks in my mind. You know, I've got this 600 quid prize boa constrictor that's like, you know, my pride and joy, and just because I'm some sort of morbid dickhead, I've got to chuck a big rat in to be hard in front of me mates. And then, well, I deserve nothing better than the rat getting sweet revenge on my snake and showing me up to be a complete penis, you know. That's the way I feel about it. This should always be watched if you're going to do it. There is no law preventing it in the UK. That is all hogwash and perpetuated to dissuade people from doing it. But if you can sort of show that there's no other course of action, and yeah, then there's no problem at all. Should you do it? Would I do it? No. I think there's probably been 8 snakes tops in 27 years that I've had to resort to live feeding, and I've gone through various levels with all the braining, the scenting, the warming up, the cooling down, turning it inside out, all this shit. Chick fluff, fish, tuna, like there's so many tricks you can go through, which before we get to live, anybody who just jumps straight to live is making a mistake. That's an error in judgment. And you would always try and do fresh killed, or like stunned, rather than doing live first. But that is traumatic for the prey item, traumatic for you as a person, having to do that to an animal, for an animal to be able to eat it. There are ethical impasses that you've got to get round, and I'm loath to recommend it. I don't think that there are benefits. I would love to know the people who argue it has benefits, what those benefits are. If they say it's more naturalistic, tell them to suck a dick, because it's not. Your snake's in a box in your bedroom, living room, kitchen, garage, whatever. It's not natural. Whatever you do, it's not natural. And then when you chuck that prey in, you have just thrown a Christie into a lion. It's not a competition. The animal chance, it's not like the iguana in Planet Earth, where it manages to escape all the races. This thing's going to get eaten. It's going to be scared shitless, and it's going to get eaten. And now I'm no woolly snowflake liberal by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like animals, and I don't want any animal to go through more pain than it has to, unless it's absolutely necessary. And I mean, yeah, okay, I'm prioritising the life of the reptile above the mammal, but I will do everything in my power first to not feed it live, and then if I have to, I have exhausted every other option, and I can with a clear conscience then contemplate it. But for the inexperienced, no. And for the blood sport of it, you ought to be ashamed. So no, not my cup of tea at all. I would like the input from Americans though, because it is more, I know it's more commonplace than the Europeans. It just is what it is. Oh, they're just eating prey. Who gives a shit? And that's very blasé, very off the cuff. Nobody cares. And I find that odd, being 27 years in the UK where we don't have that, and very much I think that my attitude towards it from the more experienced keepers is echoed, that yeah, we don't understand the purpose of it. So yeah, I would really like the input, particularly from the Americans on this. We're going to keep working through them. I'm so excited. They're finally here. After waiting for so long, I'm just going to leave them to settle for a day or so, and then there will be another advanced series video. Green tree pythons. Fuck yeah. Chondro time, baby. That's what we've been waiting for. So, looking forward to that. Just busy researching it, and I need to, on that one, I'm going to try and get a load of, because there's so much info with the localities and stuff, I'm going to try and splice in a load of my private photos from over the years with different localities. So it's going to be a bit of an undertaking, that one, but hopefully probably the most advanced one I've tried to undertake with regards editing, which we all know I'm a bag of shit at. Just look at what you're watching. So but yeah, I will keep trying, keep working on it, keep trying to push forward. Thanks for the continued support. The videos will keep coming. There'll be another top 5 later in the week. I haven't decided what it is. If you want to suggest a top 5 subject, shout one out, see if I can find something. I mean, obviously, if it's not something that's floated my boat over the years, I won't bother doing it. But if it's something I fancy having a crack at, I'll do it, and I'll give you credit if I've done it. So, nice one. See you soon. Cheers.